of former prosecutors and constitutional lawyers filing an amicus brief to argue against Trump's interest in that hearing. And Ty Cobb joins me right now. He is former Trump White House counsel and former assistant U.S. attorney for the District of Maryland. Ty, welcome to the broadcast. It's good to talk with you. Let me get to some details here, sir, because Trump is not named in this case that's set for April 16th. But why do you feel compelled to join this brief? And what is the point that you want to drive home to the Supreme Court?
So nice to be with you, Alex. The point of this brief and the importance of this case is to help shape the law as it pertains to obstruction of official proceedings. In the case below, the petitioner, under unusual circumstances, has challenged his conviction and the charges with regard to the extent of that law, trying to limit it to only impairing evidence. And it's clear that back in the day when they drafted this statute, Congress intended Section 1512 to basically be an omnibus law prohibiting obstruction of any kind, from murdering a witness to shredding documents that would impair or obstruct an official proceeding. The purpose of the brief here is to make sure that the court gives the full force and effect of that statute to the conduct underlying much of the January 6th activity, which did obstruct the official proceeding of the congressional proceeding that was underway with regard to the ballots. Certification
of the election. Okay. Thank you for that explanation
Sure.
there. So, Ty, you worked with the Trump White House for almost a year. You
Yes.
were there for almost a year, rather, when you were brought in to manage the matters related to the Mueller investigation. And you've said that you were directly in touch with Trump on a daily basis. Can you give me a sense of what you think his mindset is as he is trying to navigate his current legal challenges?
I can try. He has so many that he's probably not able to give any particular one, the degree of concentration that he would like. He has to rely on so many different lawyers and so many different teams of lawyers, some of whom are quite capable, others of whom have not distinguished themselves. I think it's very difficult for him, and he's not really a strategist in that regard. So I think he's really very much dependent on the lawyers, and I think that has turned out to be a problem for two reasons. One, the facts are terrible. His conduct is reprehensible. He's the subject of 91 felony counts, 4 separate indictments, and multiple civil cases. He's lost almost $500 million. So it's not like this is a smooth gliding ship.
I'm curious what it was like to serve in the Oval Office under Trump. And what can you tell us about his demeanor in your interactions with him? How did he treat you? How did he treat others?
So I don't go a lot into the back and forth between me and the former president, just because I'm always nervous and not a fan of lawyers who, tell all. But I will say that, for the most part, in my experience, the interaction was largely professional, largely, what you would expect. There were some difficult moments. There were some other moments that were, highly substantive. There was some give and take, and it wasn't always easy for either of us, but I think we got through it professionally, and I think the work on the so-called Russian investigation went relatively smoothly, at least in terms of the interaction between the White House and the Mueller team. This is a much different battlefield that he's facing now. These are things that he did. He's been charged with. A grand jury has charged him in each of the 4 instances. There are multiple prosecutors all over the country engaged in these events, and it's quite a difficult legal minefield to run the table on. Now, he does have the benefit of time, at least as to the federal cases, because he'll be able to dismiss those if they're still on appeal or still active once the election is over, if he wins. but only if he wins. If he loses, he's going to jail.
Well, let's look at what he is likely to win, which is the Republican nomination. And if you look at the headlines in recent months about a possible Trump second term, they include reports of plans for revenge, trade wars, abortion crackdowns. Many warnings are coming from people who served in his administration. And you know the man. What does the idea of a Trump return to the White House conjure up for you? Will he take vengeance if he's reelected?
I don't think so in the way that it's being portrayed necessarily. I'm certainly not worried. But, is he vengeful? Sure. I mean, has he proved that? I mean, ask Ronna McDaniel. It's amazing. Even his supporters get canned. He has the ability to be petty, as I think circumstances have demonstrated. But is he going to do that on a large scale? I don't think so. I think he'll be much more interested in the levers of power and the things that he can do to polish his perceived greatness in his own mind.